There's been just so much in the way of change with the release of the Arsenal update for Planetside 2 as of late. The expanded attachment selection, directive weapon tune-ups, new Empire-specific weapons, all very exciting to talk about, and we will at some point. But today, I want to direct our attention to a very modest entry in the Arsenal. A little piece of equipment that before this update was just something I'd grab out on the odd occasion. And in the time that I have been able to play the game around the still terrible server performance, that's changed. G'day there once again viewers, your mate Kamikaze78 here, and today we're going to be talking about the new menace that is the NS-AM7 Archer. So quickly, for those who are newer to the game or those who have never heard about this weapon until now, this is an anti-material rifle that is available to the engineer class exclusively. Its primary role involves taking out enemy mech suits and dealing light damage to enemy vehicles with its armor-penetrating payload. Now, some of you may remember that this was a weapon that I put in my top 10 underpowered list as a bonus round, per se. Mainly because I considered it to be a weapon that was too niche to fit the primary weapon slot, despite having a very important role to achieve on the battlefield. I always liked its role of being a max suit deterrent, but it was never worth running because you'd pretty much be useless at defending yourself against infantry unless you had an ASP perk equipped. Well, that changes as of the Arsenal update. While I made the suggestion in that video to move it to the tool slot as a replacement to the mana turret to maintain the option to run a core primary weapon and the once situational archer at the same time, the devs decided to go down the route of buffing the weapon with the following changes. Maximum direct damage from 400 to 450, minimum direct damage from 200 to 250, and the big one, headshot multiplier from 2 to 2.4 times. This is a massive buff for the archer, as it now gives it the capacity to one-shot consistently enemy infantry all the way out to the big old 90-meter range. Yeah, you heard me right. 90 meters. A weapon that couldn't even score one-shot kills against infantry once upon a time in most situations can now do it out consistently to that kind of distance. Now, if you're the one to run the numbers yourself and think, well, hang on, that doesn't sound right. That damage drop-off can only score a one-shot kill out to 54 meters on those stats. What gives? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we also have to remember the explosive damage payload the Archer sports, which arms after 30 meters of projectile travel time. This gives the weapon an additional 100 damage on direct hits, which goes a long way in extending that effective one-tap damage range. And I have to admit, it's been particularly funny watching pesky infiltrators line up my head, only for me to hit them with the big old Uno reverse card and split their skull with a round that's designed to penetrate the thickest tank armor out there. It really does make the Archer no longer just a niche weapon you run back to the infantry terminal to collect on the odd occasion. It's a pretty competent main runner now, and in fact, in my limited time in playing the game since the Arsenal update went live, it's the weapon I've used the most. But we all know the Archer is really designed for one thing, and really one thing only, and that is just turning max suits into a very expensive 450 nanite lesson. And with these changes, shit just got real. When you take into consideration the additional 25% damage max suits take from the Archer's damage type, plus these changes, you get the following bullets to kill for a max suit. Also big thanks to Pygex on Reddit for doing the testing a while back and getting us these numbers. Also to you max suit mains out there, I'd recommend sitting down for this. The Archer with body shots only will kill a max suit not wearing ordnance or kinetic armor in 4 shots up to 138.75 meters, then 5 shots consistently after that. A max suit wearing ordnance armor in 4 shots up until 103.75 meters, then 5 shots up until 173.75 meters, then 6 shots after that. And a max suit wearing kinetic armor in 5 shots within the first 30 meters, then 4 shots up until the 68.75 meter mark after the explosive damage arms, then 5 shots up until 156.25 meters, and then 6 shots after that. But wait, it gets better, or even scarier, depending on what side of the coin you're on. With headshots, a max suit will always die in 2 shots from the Archer up until 90 meters with any armor set attached. Full stop, no question about it. And that's the worst case scenario with the kinetic armor equipped. If the max suit in question is running ordnance armor, which is pretty common considering it's a deterrent to C4, that 2-shot kill extends out to 141.67 meters. And with a brand new naked max suit, that 2-shot kill is extended out all the way to the 156.25 meter mark. That is crazy consistent by comparison to where the Archer was prior to this update. And if you can score that juicy headshot on a max suit in your engagement, you more often than not only need to go for an additional body shot to secure that kill. As you've seen in the clips so far, all it really takes is that one headshot to make a max suit really reconsider a push. And shit, if you really want to drive the point home, it only takes one extra shot to seal the deal because, well, the fall-off ranges that we talked about earlier are pretty far out. The majority of times you face anti-infantry max suits that are a threat, you'll be in these, tight-knit infantry-based battles where you'll never even come close to breaking those bullets to kill thresholds. If the cocky bastard in your crosshairs is running the Berserker implant for good measure, well, then that just makes them even more vulnerable. As someone who recently made my thoughts on max suits very public and still stands by a lot of the thoughts I had in that video, well, let's just say it feels really nice to have an item that can now counter them incredibly consistently at range. But we can make it better. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? We can go ahead and make this better. Let's go ahead and throw on the critical chain implant and see what that does for us. For those who don't know, this implant reduces your weapon rechamber time by up to 50% for 3 seconds whenever you score a headshot kill with a weapon with a rechamber time excluding shotguns. And if you chain those headshot kills, the effect can potentially be stacked up to an additional 8 seconds total. And yeah, this works on the Archer. So the Archer's rechamber time of 1.5 seconds drops down to 0.75 seconds with the effect and a maxed out implant. Yeah, that's absolutely nasty. Doubling the effective rate of fire of the Archer means that if you're in a situation where you're dealing with just a ton of max suits, or you're trying to take out a max suit engineer combo, or you're just splitting heads of the standard puny infantry, it really turns the Archer into a farming machine for the accurate. One of the things I've been enjoying doing lately when the opportunity arises is sniping out a pocket engineer from behind a max and then using the critical chain buff to just absolutely ruin the poor bastard. If you want to do it the other way around, scoring a body shot on a max then going for a headshot is normally enough to net the kill, letting you use the buff to start just making the surrounding infantry regret their life choice of using said max suit as a meat shield. And if you're really accurate and you just want to start blitzing through infantry, then, well, I mean, you guys have seen the clips. You're able to do it quite easily here with the Archer. I also recommend throwing on the battle-hardened implant for less screen shake and more consistent accuracy, because when you go ahead and do that, you've got a winning combo here because you've got to deal with just simply less screen shake from being in the heat of battles. And I've got to be honest, with these Archer changes that have made their way to the game, max suits definitely feel a little bit more counterable, and it feels like you can really sort of punish someone if they decide to main a max suit. That has always been my main issue with max suits in this game. If someone wants to pull a max suit, the amount of effort it takes to take out one of those max suits is disproportionate to the amount of time it takes you to re-pull a max suit based on nanite gain in the game. The Archer now gives you the ability to consistently engage max suits and feel confident about it, and to sort of match that input of effort that the other player is putting into consistently pulling a max suit by simply having a consistent enough option to deal with them at most ranges. So yeah, I've been absolutely adoring the Archer since it came out. I think it's in an excellent spot right now, and while no, it hasn't moved to the tool slot how I would have originally liked it to, this is probably the next best thing, and in fact, it's probably an even better solution to the one I proposed because, well, the Archer is just now a lot more consistent in general, making it a weapon that I'll actually enjoy using a lot more of the time. Oh, and yes, for those wondering, the short bow is also privy to some of these buffs as well, but I've spent the majority of my time with the Archer, so I'll get to the short bow eventually. Leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are on the Archer buff. Do you think it's overkill? Do you think it's just fine? I'd love to hear what everyone's thoughts are. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to backhand the like button. It goes a long way to supporting this channel. And if you're new here, consider subscribing as it keeps you up to date with whenever we decide to release a video or go live right here on YouTube in the future. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care, guys. Have a good one.